Welcome to the worst movie podcast in the world. This week we were looking at Palm Springs.
Palm Springs.
I remembered the name. There we go. I was going to say Paradise Springs, and I don't know why. Palm Springs. I'm continuing with this, by the way. And please help us. We're trapped in a loop. Let us out! Let us out! We're stuck in a loop of recording this intro over. Days talking about this. If you want to break us out the loop, continue watching the video. Get past the intro song. Keep watching. If you watch the end, we'll escape. It's like, watch the end. Keep watching. See you guys on the flip side. See you after the song. Alright, so starting off, let's get into the logline showdown then. So, how do people want to summarize this
Cameron?
movie?
You're skipping a bit.
Who's here? I don't know who I'm here with.
I don't know.
I normally...
Who am I?
I got confused and thought... I forgot that I didn't do this in the actual intro.
With.
I forgot I didn't do this in the actual intro.
Because
we record it after now. Alright.
Who is that man?
Well, this week, I'm joined by Decos, Joe, and Ryan.
That's who you are.
That's who these guys
are. Thank you.
He knows. He understands. He understands. Now shut the fuck up. We have some log lines to do. Right. So this week I'm going to start off with me, who has a log line written down on paper. Look at it. Well, actually not on paper, on a phone. So I guess I'm only half there at the moment. But we'll get to paper at some point. I have a little book of them that I can memoir.
Nah, papers are for betas, mate.
Alright, papers are for betas. Good job I did it on my phone then. Good job I did it on my phone. Right. Well, I'm ready to go. So I'm starting this. So my logline is: this movie focuses on three people trapped in a time loop. Andy Samberg, the chill dude who drinks beers in a pool all day and hangs out. The chick who somehow becomes an expert in quantum physics in what seems like under 5 years, making her the greatest prodigal mind of all time. And finally, J.K. Simmons, a sadistic murderer who enjoys watching a kid water poop for what has been presumably hundreds of years, making the sadistic killings make that little bit more sense.
That's actually really good.
Yeah!
He's put effort in.
Ryan's actually... I'm a bit confused. Like, I don't know how this is going to go now, because we've never actually had a well thought out logline from Cameron.
Joe.
Hello.
We stand strong.
No!
I don't know.
He will not divide us.
I feel weak. That poetry is like touched my heart.
I need Jason back.
Together.
I could pay
I'll go next.
All right, yeah, Joe, you're up next. You're up next.
But also Abe's.
Here's mine. If you were trapped in a never-ending loop and your only salvation was a wedding, cans of beer, and a goat, at what point would you lose your mind into the time vortex and ask yourself, if you were trapped in a never-ending loop and your only salvation was a wedding, cans of beer, and a goat, at what point would you lose your mind into the time vortex and ask yourself, if you were trapped in a never-ending loop and your only salvation was a wedding, cans of beer, and a goat, at what point would you lose your mind into the time vortex?
Right there. That's a good one, Joe. That's a good one. I like that.
Honestly, we should have just let him do that the entire video.
I was going to carry on until somebody told me to stop. That was the plan.
Until someone prevented him from continuing his reign of... No, it was good. That was good.
I
like that. That was smart. That was clever.
Looking back on that, it could have just been an hour of that if you hadn't said anything.
Yeah, because I feel like, look, little Ryan, he wouldn't have said a thing. Look at him. He was ready. He was ready to eat it up.
No, shut up.
What?
So when you're editing tonight, just turn that into an hour-long clip and just put it onto YouTube as well.
Hell yeah.
That's the entire podcast, yeah.
Right.
Just
Who's next?
That's going to be my ringtone.
Who's
just
next?
I'm gonna give Ryan. I'm gonna give Decos. I'm gonna go with Decos next.
Thank you.
Decos.
In a world where J.K. Simmons becomes what he hates, he slates Spider-Man for his recklessness, and yet he's reckless himself.
Wow.
He flew too close to the sun, like Icarus.
What?
What the fuck is going on?
What?
That started out like poetry.
Off the top of my head,
That was the first part was really good. I'll be honest.
The second
The whole
part,
Icarus part.
I
feel
don't know if
like
that tied with the
you just
film
jumped
a
the
lot,
gun
but
there on that. I don't know what you were
but
aiming
the first
for,
part
but...
though, that was
I don't
strong.
know.
Yeah.
All
I just
right,
felt
and
like I needed to.
finally,
This may be the first time in a while we've had like 3 semi-decent log lines.
well,
So
will
now
we
it's
have?
down to right.
Will we have 4 semi-decent log lines? Let's
I
find
don't
out
know.
with the man, the myth, the legend, the Liggity Lax.
Well, after being trapped in a time loop for what is presumably hundreds of years, Andy Samberg decides to give up and try getting fucked in the ass.
That is true. That did happen. That is.
We don't
I
know how
mean-
many times he's done that either.
Yeah, maybe he went
Yeah.
back. Maybe he went back for
Yeah,
seconds.
he only
Who's to say?
admitted to her that he did it once, and he did
Yeah.
keep things from her. It's very odd. In fact, it's a key
He
plot
did
point in the
lie.
film that he kept information from her. So I feel like
Mm.
I feel like he got ass plowed by the dad as well.
I
Like, let's
have
just- let's
I
just
have
put
a
this down.
feeling
It
the dad's
happened.
story was like...
Yeah, the dad's story was like he was trying to gauge how she would
satire.
react.
I
He
reckon
saw
that
she was
happened.
Yeah,
That
Yeah,
happened.
it definitely happened.
100%.
He's been in there so long, he's just like, I'm a fuck it. Like, at what point do you just go,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and fuck
Right.
everyone?
Try to get a wedding orgy on the go this day. Let's try, see how it goes down.
He's like, what is the most fucked up situation you can get to?
The fact that he knew
Goddamn right.
about the goat. The fact that he knew about the goat as well.
Yeah,
The goat.
that's
The
true.
goat.
Actually, he knew
All
about
right,
the goat.
so
What did he
I
do to the goat?
Poor
say we get into the voting here and see where
Yeah.
we stand.
Really?
So as you can see, the points are a little, they're not exactly in my favor currently. If people have been
The
following
points
this
never be in
podcast
your
every
favour.
week, they'll know it's been a hard battle. It's been a struggle. It's an endless fight to get that
There's
first point.
too much
We
going
almost
on in
got it.
Ryan's section right
We
now,
almost
I'll be
got it a
honest.
few times. There were times I came close, but never truly grasped it. So let's
There's too
find out.
much
So you
going
know what?
on. There's too much going on.
I'll
here.
vote first. I'll take myself off the table as the wild card here, and I'm gonna vote for Joe's because I like the whole time loop thing he was going for with that.
Thank you,
I thought it
Cameron.
was pretty funny. So
Yeah,
yeah,
play on the movie there.
exactly. Yeah,
I
they'll
thought
play on
you'd
the movie.
appreciate that.
I
Play to
think
your audience.
exactly. Yeah, and the little joke. It summarizes what happens in the film, right? It started to drive me a little crazy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly.
And I
All
would have
right, so
carried
yeah,
on.
my point goes to Joe. Right. Anyone else go? Yeah, who you giving points to?
I would also like to vote for Joe. I liked his little time loop thing.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah,
Even,
I'm
even
gonna
though
vote for Joe.
Cameron, it was a respectable effort. In any other week, you right now might be getting the vote. But
It's all right. All right. I'll just have to figure out what's happening in the movie you're making us watch next week and try and come up with something. We'll get
I'm
to
gonna
that.
give mine to
you're
Joe.
gonna fail.
I'm gonna give mine to Joe so Joe wins. Clean sweep.
No. Did I get 3 votes?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I'd just like to say that, no, but I would like to say, even if you guys hadn't have voted for me, and we're locking in that score now, okay? I've won.
It's locked
I've
in.
won.
Yeah,
Finally.
you,
I mean, you've won
you've got the
regardless.
point.
Like, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, Cameron, you would have had my vote this week.
Thanks,
I think it
Joe.
was a fantastic effort. And for the first time, it brought a small tear to my eye.
Oh,
Like, you're all growing up, Cameron.
oh,
It's all growing up.
Joe. Oh,
It
the
was
praise
commendable.
dousing over me.
Very commendable.
All right. Well, there we go. Joe got his point. Little Andy Samberg chilling on a little pizza
Oh,
slice in a
yeah.
pool, living it
chilling.
up, living the true life.
I wish
We love
I
to
was
see it.
chilling on a pizza slice in a pool.
I wish I was as well. Maybe not stuck in a time limit though. Maybe for a few days, but not indefinitely. Right. The part where everyone says what they thought about the movie and stuff. Right. Well, anyone kind of want to like jump in here and just kind of
I
just
got
like
some stuff.
Ryan has some things.
Ryan
Yeah.
starts with stuff.
Oh.
First off, this is an important question.
Mm.
How many salads do you reckon Andy Samberg was eating whilst he was in, the time loop? If at all,
Salads.
honestly. Because
I
there's
wonder
no
if
way to
it
be
was-
healthy.
Yeah, do you think it wouldn't have any effect, would it? That's why.
Yeah, so I don't think he
drunk
would
all
eat
the time.
anything because you might as well
I think
just
he was
eat whatever
The
you want.
only thing I saw him consume was those cans of beer, and like every now and then he'd go
Burrito.
down and make like a smoothie or
Yeah.
whatever that
He'd have
juice
the
was that he
burrito.
had. Did he have a burrito? I didn't see him. I don't remember.
Yeah,
seeing
I
him.
do-
he
I
tipped
do remember the
a
burrito.
kid $100 for a burrito.
Yeah.
Or something.
The first time he
And then he had another one later on as well.
Yeah. The man likes his burritos. He was chowing down on them throughout the whole film. It was great. Yeah, so I think no salads.
No, you wouldn't
I
need
think
to.
zero.
Why?
You wouldn't need to in this premise.
If you
wouldn't
go
need to.
into it, if you get stuck in a time loop in Palm Springs and you're eating salads, you're just a nerd.
Yeah, I
Wow.
100% agree.
Nerd.
Yeah. Fucking nerd. Trying to watch that
Oh,
figure
no.
for like a day that resets? Nah, not this guy. Now, obviously, so obviously this film is just generally about just guy stuck in a time loop accidentally gets two other people basically stuck in there with him, right? One of them more so his fault than the other one. The other one, the person just kind of followed him, right? That's the basic premise of the film going on here. Now, he mentioned to her that he obviously tried like multiple suicide attempts beforehand to like see if he could get out of it, right? Now, I propose this question to you. What would be the coolest way to die if you were in a time loop and you were just like, right, I'm going to kill myself, but I'm going to do it so that it looks fucking cool?
I think. Well, I think they nearly had it in the film. One of the scenes where they both die in the plane.
Yeah.
What I would do
Oh,
is
pretty
instead I'd crash it into the wedding.
Oh,
I join
yeah,
the
right into the
speeches.
wedding. Yeah, right
Join
in the
the
middle of it.
speech. This goddamn plane, like cruising into the fucking best man. Because into the what's he called? Not the
Groom.
bride, the
groom.
groom.
That's
'Cause
the
he was
one.
a piece of shit anyway.
Yeah, fuck him up, mess him up with the plane.
He crashed the plane into the groom.
Yeah,
And then, that is one hell of a wedding. For that day, they will remember that as being the craziest wedding they've ever been to.
I completely agree. I think that'd be a very cool way to do it. I think that'd be a very cool way to go about it. You know that C4 they somehow managed to acquire? All right.
Yeah.
Did they make that? Like,
Oh my
because they
God,
couldn't
yeah.
store it.
I
Like,
don't
so
know.
what the fuck
I mean,
were they doing?
it is America, so but
Wedding,
yeah,
you know.
There was a place where there was a shooting range, so I guess maybe from there. And
True,
that guy had an
true.
RPG, didn't he?
Maybe. Yeah, he did have an
could have been
RPG. Yeah, so maybe he just
stockpiling.
he had some C4 that he'd like made or something.
Yeah.
I guess just strap his C4 to yourself.
Well, on a lighter note, did anyone? I mean, that whole thing with like but just the blowing up the caves. We're skipping to the end a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, great, they got out and stuff, but I think the real great revelation in this movie is that you find out the goat must have also been stuck in this time loop. That poor goat, because he went through.
presumably
It
a while.
you get a fresh one.
But he disappeared when he blew himself up, so he must have escaped the time
No,
loop.
she put him before she put the bombs onto him. She put him through it.
Yeah, what
She
happened
forced
to
him
that
through it.
goat then? Is that
I think
goat
he
in
was
own
freed.
existence?
I think
She
he was
propelled him
freed.
out.
No, but
Alright.
no, because that goat won't go into that same reality, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
So, hear me out.
No.
How did she know that it worked with the goat, right? Because, propose this to me. Because remember, when they left the time loop, right? At the scene, like slight middle credit scene where J.K. Simmons comes up and sees Andy Samberg again, but it's not the same him. It's a different him, the one that's was in the loop, right? That means she would have seen, even though the goat escaped the time loop, she would have come back and seen the goat again. How could she know? The goat couldn't tell her. It would have just been a goat. Like, she had no way of knowing that wasn't the same goat.
Well, she said the goat wasn't there.
Yeah,
so the goat must have got. So that makes it sound like the goat just died. Like the plan did not work.
Yeah, it makes it sound. Yeah, it did not work at all.
But at the same time, he's right. Regardless of if the goat was in a time loop or not, when the goat went through the cave and exploded, the original goat would have still had to have been there. And how could you tell which is the time loop goat? But that actually brings me on. I do want to break down some little queries I had, and I know that this film, it's not meant to be like really fucking theory depth. Goddamn. I mean, to be fair, give props to it. I think the information you get is enough. Things are kind of explained quite well. You kind of get the gist of the situation. However, there are just some little things that bugged me. Like, for example, just the whole waking up. Okay. So, like, there are, like, for one occasion that comes to mind when the woman dies, she falls out of the truck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to her. She's fallen out of the truck. She wakes up. how does then she wake up at the same reality as he does?
I guess
Because he's still alive. So does he? Does she have to wait till he also falls
Yeah,
asleep
Nah.
when they
well,
wake
no,
up?
she like I guess
Because-
instantly resets, but he's
but-
then sort of, like still waiting around.
But then what? What if she was to go find him if he's still awake? How is that gonna work?
No,
is that just
no,
another
I think no.
version?
I think with how if you think like with the time, like how the time loop works is when they get reset. I don't think because you got
When
to
the
think.
final person
Yeah,
goes to sleep, right?
yeah. So it's like they just when they get reset, they end up at the same point. So even though she resets sooner, when he resets, he ends up at exactly the same point. So it doesn't matter when he resets; he's always ending up back there as well.
Okay.
So then they'll both be at the same time. So they'll both be like the reset
Yeah,
versions of themselves.
just because someone dies or falls asleep first doesn't mean
But the
They
other
don't just like
person
wait
that doesn't.
around.
Yeah, they don't have to
Yeah,
wait
they don't
around.
actually start until.
they reset at the same point in time, basically.
Mm.
Wibbly wobbly timeline.
Yeah.
Because
That's
because I was just kind of thinking like they are numerous, and same with Roy. Roy's the character Roy, like he has killed what was his name? Niles
Yeah,
multiple
Niles.
times.
no.
He's been killed by them. He would then, in my head, I was like, well, he's then going to wake up. Is he then back in another reality with the same Niles and stuff, or is it a different one now because they're still alive in the past loop, and now he's in another loop?
They guess they both reset at the same point. So like he'd have just gone. It would have been the same guy every time.
It's a little bit touch and go in places, I feel.
A smidge.
Little
Also,
bit
did
touch
it
and go.
hint that the old lady was also in the time loop at the
I
very end?
think it. What I
I think
it
it was hinting that she was. Yeah.
I was going to ask you guys. I
was
was like,
it?
do you think there was any other characters? Because I think the film very much hinted that the old lady was also stuck in the loop, but she
Who's
was
the old
like
lady?
maybe. So like at the very end of the film, Ryan, there's
The
that
nan.
scene where like the nan, the granny, who at the start of the film says that Andy Thingy's speech was one of the best she's ever heard, and at the end of the film, she says it to the woman, like that speech is the best I've ever heard, and then she says, "Oh, like." What was it? Something like saying goodbye, like not
It's
sticking
time for
around
you
anymore.
to go now. Something
Yeah,
along
kind
Yeah.
of hinting that that the grannies, because you've got to you got to beg the question. You know, there's a big party, a big wedding going on out there. Okay, and by the looks of it, this cave is not too far from the wedding because they end up there all the time.
Yeah.
So it's got to be another person or two that stumbled across it. I mean, if he did, the fact he stumbled across it in the first place is
Yeah.
kind of like this.
Because I'm
Who knows how
assuming
if there's
did
anybody
he?
else?
I must have missed that. Did he explain how he stumbled across it in the first place? I'm assuming he saw
No,
his. I'm assuming he saw his girlfriend cheating, went off into the desert to like mope, and like stumbled across
Yeah.
it. Right. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
it never
assuming.
actually. His backstory is kind of
They really keep his past hidden. I thought they were gonna like explain it a bit, like a smidge, but he doesn't really go into it all that. Like he
I don't think
what
it
his job was.
necessarily needs.
But maybe
I
that's
don't think
like
it necessarily
it didn't
needs
need
to,
it.
but-
I think it's also hinting that he's been in the time loop so long that he doesn't even
Yeah.
properly remember his own past, sort of thing. So when she
Well,
thought he was lying,
okay,
it's just literally telling the truth.
Here's a point. We can come back to this, but just since you've said that, I've got something written down that I wanted to speak about.
Mm.
Like you just said, and he even quotes it in the film. You know, he doesn't remember his job anymore. So first of all, it really begs a question, and this is like I guess it's a kind of two-part question. First of all, how long we
He
think
remembers
he
his
was
dog.
actually in there? Yeah, he does remember his
Yeah,
dog,
he remembers
but
the dog.
he claims he doesn't remember his job. Now, whether or not that's him just like, oh, I don't want to talk about like my life is
Has a
shit.
job.
Yeah.
Maybe, but it could be that. But it's also potentially that maybe he has been in there for so long. I mean, it's never said, never shown truly how long he has been in that loop.
I don't know. He's like perfected stuff, but he doesn't know like the day off by heart. I don't think. At this point,
True.
he doesn't like
Yeah.
at the like the end of a Groundhog Day, right? Where Bill Murray
Yeah.
almost does the perfect day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know for Groundhog Day, it was meant to be something like he was in there for like 80 to 90 years.
Nah, I think it was supposed to be like 3,000 years he was in there.
Was it? I thought.
Nah, because a lot of his the ice sculpting he did would have taken 45 years to master. At least.
No, but you're basing this off. You're basing this off like
all
theory.
the skills that
I'm basing this off like.
what the director.
I'm basing this off actual stuff. That,
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. There's like a follow up to it.
Yeah.
But
that woman learned quantum physics in like a week.
That is true. Like, well, we don't know. It never actually said how long it was.
I think because he's still.
It doesn't specifically show.
They seemed to, it felt like a couple, like at least like one or that's why I said in my like logline thing, it seemed like it was like long but not super long, like around like 5 to 10 years sort of thing. Like it gave off that vibe of maybe it was like a couple years maybe that she was doing that for. I don't know.
But leading back to just quickly, the question I was going to say was that if we go off the assumption that maybe he has been in there for so long that he's forgotten how his life was, can he even come back to regular
Maybe that's why he was so scared
life?
To leave.
Yeah,
that's probably why.
At the end of the movie, like, do we think he's even able to pick up? Yeah, he remembers his dog, but if he doesn't remember his job or remember anything else, like, how is he going to rejoin society?
I think
what's left for him?
I think the big one for me is that, like, at least in the time loop, your actions don't have consequences, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, like death and shit, or like the dumb shit that you're gonna be doing just because you're like, this has no consequence. I'll just come back to life.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Like, dude's gonna be like crossing the street without looking. He's gonna,
I actually
feel he's gonna be a walking
actually was left.
No insurance company would take this guy.
I was actually just left feeling like terrible for Niles. Like, I feel like he just got the short end of the stick here, regardless, because like he seemed quite content anyway. Yeah, who knows? Like, however long he's been, like, he's kind of adjusted to it and he's accepted it.
Yeah, he's pretty chill.
Then he gets this woman. Yeah, then he gets this woman that comes through and stuff. But realistically, look, let's be honest. This woman's character was a piece of shit. I'll have to be frank here. The only reason,
the mother from How I Met Your Mother.
The only reason she wanted to return in the first place is because she couldn't bear that every morning she's reminded of the fact that she slept with her sister's soon-to-be husband. That is the pivotal point.
Accurately,
where she
her sister's soon-to-be husband slept with her. I think that's like.
What? No. It takes two to tango, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say exactly that.
It takes two to tango, and it's that weight of that is her reason. Yeah, she'll have to deal with that when she it goes back to reality. But it's the fact that she has to wait, because it's that. See, I thought it actually was. It got me it took me by surprise, that little plot twist of her. Like, you see her waking up in this room every morning. You see her getting upset and mad, and they hint at that she goes missing every morning. Well, the morning that they're in the loop of, she's always missing. She's not in her room. Yeah, and you kind of left thinking, maybe what is that like? You think maybe it's because she's in the loop, she's just out fucking doing her thing, or she's sneaking into Niles' room. But then you find out that no, she's not that good of a girl anyway.
She's banging the husband.
And she just kind of forces him to leave.
Yeah,
because he has already admitted to her at this point that he's in love with her. So now she's just using the guilt card. Like, oh, you either come with me or I'm gone. And that's it. I'll leave you here to rot. How's she going to carry on living life knowing that he's stuck in there? And also, oh my God, why did they just leave Roy? They just left him.
They left him. They left him with the information on how to get out.
No, I did. Yeah, they left him a note. If you're going through the effort to leave him a note,
she told them what.
He literally told him the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to be like, Roy. They didn't want to be like, Roy, we're gonna, do this thing that we don't even know if it works or not. Okay,
maybe. I was worried when I saw that scene.
Go find Andy Samberg and be like.
I was worried that they were going to end the film.
Yeah, I was worried they were going to leave Roy as well. Yeah, I was like, no, take Roy with you.
Like this.
It would have been really funny if Roy just then took that version of Niles back to the cave and threw him back in.
Actually, what would? Oh my God! Yeah, wait. What would happen?
What would the consequences be?
Well, actually, was
Holy
watching
shit,
some.
that's a good
Well,
one. What would the concept?
well,
Yeah, if he takes them
no,
back to the cave, is that like
I
an
was watching something after this film. This guy, basically, I came across this video. I was looking at some like reviews and stuff, and I came across a guy doing a video who's basically saying that he thinks that Palm Springs is the ultimate time loop movie.
Oh, wait a minute, yeah, because Andy Samberg's always going to go to the cave.
Yeah,
because he has to, because that's his day that he goes about normally.
He was saying that he thinks that the end credit scene does more than show that, you know, Roy will also get out eventually. It also hints that, you know, there's a chance that then he bumps into Niles. Then what if Roy goes to the cave, Niles follows him, goes into the cave after, and then the loop restarts again. You know, it is a perfect loop because even after all this time, when they finally get out, Roy comes late, he bumps into him and has that weird altercation that, you know, Niles' character at that point is at a really shit place. He's going to be eager to try find any sort of interest in this wedding. He's going to follow him out to the cave, watch Roy go in, follow him, and then it all begins again.
I
mean, when you think about it like that, it's kind of. I mean, I don't know who wrote this.
I mean, obviously, it won't be the same. It won't be the same Andy Samberg because I'm assuming there's like different. When they escape, they're basically creating a new timeline, right? Compared to the other one. So then the other ones will guess when they escape, they'll be in another. I think if you get into it too. Talking about time travel is always a touchy subject because it works differently in every form of media. So it's just like.
At the same time, like...
Were the dinosaurs stuck in the time loop? Because they kept showing those dinosaurs. I thought originally they were on shrooms.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But are the dinosaurs stuck in the time loop as well? Because they were there at the end when no one was on mushrooms. So my assumption was that they were also stuck in the loop. But then that wouldn't make any sense as to why they were there in the present, though. So maybe they were just mushrooms.
Because obviously,
I don't know.
You have to kind of consider the fact that when they do wake up on the next day, they're well, I would assume they are in now a different timeline. That those people that they come back to are not the ones that they left. Because what would have happened to, like, what would have happened to their characters? What would have happened to their characters from the original timeline? Would they have just vanished? Would they just not have been at the wedding?
I'm assuming it'd just be another. It'd just be another timeline. You just have to assume there's many. Think like it'd be like a multiverse sort of thing. It's just at that point it's different.
But then I wonder if, like, when they return home, if they go back and try and find Roy again, is it going to be the Roy that they knew in the time loop, or is it going to be a complete stranger?
Nah, I think it'd be a completely different one.
That's sad. So Roy's all alone. He is all alone.
So. I think it'll be. I think he'll.
He got that kid who's you know.
I think he'll get. I think if he escapes, he'll get thrusted into the same point in time as them.
Does that mean that Niles and the woman don't know each other?
No, they do know each other because it ends with them knowing each other. They're holding hands.
But how?
Because they left together.
Oh, they went at the same time.
It was the same Boom Boom Joe.
It's too much. I don't know quantum physics.
That's not quantum physics. That's just like looking at what happens in the film. Anyway, I want to point out we have been on this section for quite a long time talking about time loops.
It depends on how you look. It depends on how you look at it, though. We've fallen into a loop. Because if they remember everything that's happened on every reset day, then Roy is a part of that timeline. So when he escapes, he will be a part of that.
Maybe
he will join back into that one.
But what if when he has his explosion?
Not necessarily. Right?
Yeah, because they were saying the explosion knocks them into a random spot, right? So because they were together, they got knocked into the same spot. So what if he gets knocked into another one? Because time's fickle. He could get fickled.
Because surely the first timeline, right? Andy Samberg goes into the cave, but Christina Milioti doesn't. So the first timeline wouldn't have Andy Samberg.
Right. As host, we have to move on from this section and stop talking about timelines. This has to happen. We have to moving on, and not that I want to cut anybody off. We just need to just get out. We were in a loop. We had to break out. All right, that was the C4 moment. We're out now.
Hey, don't steal the loop.
Don't steal. Right. Oh, that we need to have something from Quantum Leap.
I'm very disappointed that Scott Bakula.
Yeah, where was Scott? Anyway, right. That machine has stopped talking. Right. So effects. I guess there's not that many effects to talk about in this. It was mostly, it seemed like,
obviously more stuff. Maybe like
there was some effects
physics.
that obviously were a bit like wackadoo, but like that's because it's like I'm assuming like not a very high budget Amazon Prime film, right? Like when there was an explosion, it was like, oh yeah.
I actually beg the question: why is this not on Disney Plus?
Because it's done by Hulu.
Yeah, but Disney Plus is like part of Hulu. Yeah, Hulu's owned by it. Yeah.
Well, I think as far as I'm aware as well, this obviously when this film came out in 2020, I think whoever made it originally, it was like one of the best selling like one of the best movies that they.
It's Hulu's most popular film because
it made like the most money.
Hulu tends to be on the back, not even most money. It's just Hulu tends to sort of be on the back front when it comes to actually making content that people watch.
Hulu?
Exactly. Who the fuck buys Hulu? So having a film that is an Andy Samberg comedy release, just something lighthearted and fun in the middle of the COVID pandemic, which was inherently not lighthearted and not very fun.
It was not.
Kind of just a recipe for like.
I don't know, man. Those 3 months of like Warzone and everything.
Yeah, we just sat and played Warzone.
Yeah. Even I played Warzone. I don't play Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So obviously the effects weren't of the height, but there wasn't a lot of them. So like they
did. I was
the cave
confused as to what. Not before the cave. Like one of the first shots of the movie, they used like a CGI goat when they had a goat. Like why use a CGI goat? It looked odd.
Just to show that you can.
Yeah, because they can.
No more CGI goats.
Maybe the goat died after they, fucking exploded it in a time like vortex, and so they hadn't actually shot like the first establishing shot of the goat.
They actually blew up the goat.
A bit like what they did with Paul Walker in the Fast and Furious 7.
You can't compare Paul Walker.
I think we can.
That goat was played by Paul Walker's CGI.
Fuck's sake. The CGI rock. When he unveils the cave for the first time, like when he's trying to show her, and the CGI rock falls down, that looked.
The Rock was in this as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was this just a Fast and Furious film?
It was. It was.
I do want to know. I do wish that we found out a bit more about like just the whole concept of the cave and why
I feel like also
it was.
not. I feel like you find out more about that. It takes away from the character points, right? So you want to focus on the characters. You give something that vaguely explains it, so the audience accepts what's happening. So then you can focus on the characters and their journey. Basically, that was it. It wasn't too lore heavy, and I kind of appreciated that part of it. I guess. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah,
it didn't need it.
Not like that wasn't the point of the film.
Yeah, unlike Barbie, the greatest film of all time.
I do feel like though this
I rated it 5 stars.
This would be a fantastic like if this was like a TV show instead of a film. I actually was like wanting more. It's only an hour and a half long. I actually was like wanting like a longer movie because I actually was like really enjoying it and like just the whole concept of them doing whatever they want and having all these other little side characters come in, like the plot of the granny. Like I wanted more of Roy, like that vendetta. Like I wanted to see more of like Roy in his heyday, like just like this masochist motherfucker that was hell bent on revenge.
If they just fleshed it out a little bit more, made it like 6 20-minute episodes or something.
Yeah.
I think it could have gone quite well for itself as a little TV show.
Roy definitely put his big miles of that.
But we don't focus on TV shows. We're a movie podcast, so we are steering clear of TV shows. Don't exist. Don't watch them. Watch films only.
What is a TV?
What is a TV show? Yeah. Well, no. Watch movies only. Specifically the movies we talk about. That is it. That's all that's allowed. Nothing else.
Next week.
Not next week. You get free pass that week. Don't worry about it.
It's gonna be fucking pain.
It's gonna be great, and we're gonna love it. We're gonna come on here full of energy, and we're gonna discuss pomegranates.
Right.
That's good. That's a hint. That's a hint for what we could be watching. Stay tuned to the end to find out what it is. Right.
You're
Well, I
watching
guess we
a
talked about
film where
effects
if you
stuff
type
Explain it
and
in
other
later in the
stuff.
podcast a bit, but you're not gonna have any idea anyway.
It'll be fine.
it's one of those films where you type in the name of the film and something completely different comes up.
Yeah. Right.
It's not a film.
Moving on to the next
Doesn't
section
make
then.
sense.
Now this one is probably one of the easiest sections for this film. And that is who was the acting goat and who was the acting
The
stoat.
goat.
Can we, yeah, I was about to say the goat is the goat, right?
No, I'm not playing that card.
The
That was
goat
a
is
deep
the
end.
goat.
Yeah, the movie was too good to shift acting goat
I
onto the
don't
goat.
think.
The goat was
Yeah, I don't
Roy.
think the goat can
The goat
be.
was
Sadly,
Roy.
even though the goat is a goat and kind of the goated goat,
Exactly.
I don't think
it
he can
just
be the
works perfectly.
acting goat.
No,
for
yeah.
this.
All right. The
I mean, the fact
voices
as
of
well, the fact as
reason.
well that they had to make the goat CGI. Actually, I mean, I know I said some bullshit about he got exploded before, but
Yeah.
to me, that is sort of like when modern actors go AWOL, and so they have the CGI one in case they can't get.
In case they
back.
can't keep
I
like
reckon that.
tabs on them.
I reckon that goat let the fame go to his head. During
The
filming.
goat
Got
was
addicted to sleeping
like,
pills and cocaine, like Carrie Fisher
yeah,
did.
that whole
in the 80s.
rainbow cocaine
And
they were doing.
that goat was in fucking rehab when they had to like finish the film. That wasn't a purposeful CGI goat. The fucking goat. That
It
goat,
was
I
a
reckon's piece of shit.
necessity
That
because
goat,
the
man.
actual goat
And I
was
hope
off the
he never
rails.
works in the industry again.
He was goading
Okay?
around.
I hope that goat. If that goat is involved in like the current actors strike right now, I fucking hope the actors lose.
So
Stoat.
right,
That goat was the stoat.
that goat was the stoat. I'm going with Andy Samberg as the goat. Actually, I really liked him in this. I thought he was giving it a pretty good shot, even though J.K. Simmons was pulling it off, and so was the woman who I always forget the name of. I thought all
Christina
three of them
Ricci.
were great, but I'm going with obviously Andy Samberg, which makes sense because I'm pretty sure he was the main character of the thing. So
I'm going
yeah,
with
Yeah.
He
J.K.
wrote
Simmons.
the fucking film.
He wrote the
I
film as
also
well, yeah.
I agree with Dika. I want to put J.K. Simmons up there
all right.
because like just he's at the point in his like career now. Wow, when he made this movie, like, he's got to a point in acting now where he can just rock up in a movie like this. I wouldn't expect to see him like playing a role like this.
Yeah.
But he just rocks up,
Really?
and
I think he's actually
no,
quite good. Like,
no,
he's quite good comedic actor, huh?
no. But no, my point is that he just rocks up, and yeah, we see him a little bit throughout. He started around, he plays that sort of like, murderous, subplot. But his longest dialogue in this film is him, essentially talking about that he's stuck watching his son water shit on the floor, but he's content with it. And honestly, that speech moved me. I think he's the only man on the planet who could do a speech about his son watering a piece of shit, a literal piece of shit. And I feel emotionally attached to him. And I think that, that shows some real raw talent there. So he's my acting goat. The Stoat is the goat though. Fuck the goat. No, the Stoat is the goddamn girlfriend. I know the character was meant to be annoying.
Yeah.
And maybe you could argue that the actor did a good job, but I just get a vibe that that's how the actor is in real life. Say that as you want.
Yeah, like
it is a
she was
sign of good
pissing me off as
acting,
well.
but it just kind of
No, I'm sorry. The sign of true acting is being able to watch two films where they play completely different characters, and you believe both of them. I believe she is that person in everything she does.
Yeah, typecast.
Including real life. I bet she shouts at people at Starbucks because they get her name wrong.
Yeah.
Do you reckon she had the goat though during acting?
Maybe.
I think she joined the goat, sailed with him to the island.
Why was I didn't notice the goat was CGI. Why were there two?
Also, I have a little while we're on the actors and stuff, there was a little cameo, and this is something that I didn't know. I'm not gonna say I fucking spotted it. I saw a video.
J.K. Simmons?
What?
Is it about J.K. Simmons?
No.
J.K. Simmons cameoed in this film. Did you know?
No.
I did not know that.
He cameoed as in like the first, like the first wedding at the very start.
Yeah.
You can see him in the background as his character from Whiplash. He's like dressed as it. Actually, I think it might be in the There's a point in the film where he basically cameos as his character from Whiplash.
There is
an actual cameo, but it's not one that I spotted myself. I'm not going to claim I knew who he was, but I was watching some videos earlier about it, and they spoke about him. It's kind of interesting. There's a guy called Dr. Clifford Johnson. Okay, I'm not sure. You probably don't know him by name. He was the guy that appeared on the Zoom call when they were learning about quantum physics. Now, he is an actual scientific advisor for movies. He was the one for this film. But just a little fun fact here, Deco's fun fact here for you. His major role is that he's the scientific advisor for Marvel. So if you ever wanted to, if you ever in any doubt that the time loop quantum physics in this film was not reliable, I would argue Marvel is the most reliable source of quantum physics we've ever seen.
So you're saying Ant-Man Quantumania?
Yeah, he was the advisor on that. He was like, guys,
the cameo
there
in
are
this
fucking
movie,
little broccoli men living all under your skin.
Essentially,
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray fucking that chick, that happens at a microscopic level. You cannot believe it. It's insane.
The cameo in this film was from a guy whose job title is scientific advisor for Marvel. Now, that is a weird job title to have, I think, but I mean, he's earning a quick buck for it.
Oh my god! It's just the amount of connotations that has is fantastic.
The fact that Marvel have a quote-unquote scientific advisor and pay somebody to do that, and apparently this guy, he's a doctor. Apparently, he is like well educated in like physics and stuff, and yet
sounds like that's part of the script in the job, Joe.
Yeah. Well, no, exactly. But the fact that like you look at some of the films he's worked on, and the two at the top are this film and Ant-Man Quantumania. I mean, you really have to ask a few questions as to how reliable his sources are.
At a subatomic level, there is a conqueror called Kang.
Leader.
All right, I guess we're rating the movie now. So let's see where people want to put it. You know what? I'll start since I'm at the top of the list. Well, so you know what? We're going to go down in descending order from the names. That way we get a nice little line going down. Start for me. I'm going to give it nice and easy, A tier. I thought it was great. Loved it. Would happily watch it again. Great fun. Everyone was giving it that. It was fun. I had quite a few chuckles, heartfelt moments. What more can I ask? It was an entertaining watch. A tier, easy. Right.
The police.
It's my net. Oh, shit. I'm going to get fucking DDoSed. They're coming to my house. I'll get doxed. They're here. Right, DCOS, you're up.
Oh, okay. I'm going it C. It's just, I enjoyed it. It's just a mid-tier film.
What?
It's one of those.
Oh, controversial.
What?
I enjoyed it, but it was mid. Like,
actually, DCOS, first of all, hold on. Before you finish your rating, sorry to interrupt. You have not yet rated it on Letterboxd, okay? And I find that very poor.
It's 3.5 stars.
Oh, have you done it now?
I did it.
3.5.
I did it when you guys mentioned it.
I
rated it 2.
I find that
such a DCOS heavenish.
I found it in a. You might have to cut that. You might have to cut that. That's like this right now, man. Yeah. Anyway, well, I found it enjoyable. I had a few laughs, but if I go to watch it again, I probably won't laugh, and I probably won't even concentrate to the film. That's the problem.
But the CGI goes.
Something like you put in A tier, like Puss in Boots, I'll be able to watch multiple times. Le Mans I have, Howl's Moving Castle I have, and I can just watch them, enjoy them, and sit there. I don't think I can do that with this film.
I can do this one. I can do it. Well, I didn't put Puss in Boots in there. I put it in S. Puss in Boots on a different tier. But yeah, all right, cool. Right. So Joe, then. Joe, where are you going to pop it?
Oh, Joe, I'm going to put it in B.
I'm kind of torn. Yeah, I'm kind of torn. Like, I don't know, man. I did actually really enjoy this film a lot more than I thought I was going to. I was initially going to put it in B, but I think because it kind of, especially after we talk about it now, it did a lot better than my expectation. I'm going to be gracious to it.
Yes, do it.
And I'm gonna slot it in A.
Oh, Joe, putting it in A.
I know.
Cool. So we've got it. ACA. Right. The defining moment. Ryan, where are you going to put it?
I'm tempted to put it in B tier, just so that way it spells out ACAB.
I mean,
That is
there's
not a
any
valid reason
more-
to score.
that's like a valid reason to me.
But no, I
That's like
can't.
a very valid reason.
I can't do my boy Andy Samberg like that. This is
Yeah.
a great film. I think it's one of his best.
Yeah.
I think it's the best.
Oh,
Have you already put
no.
the? He hasn't even cast his vote yet.
It's an A tier.
Oh, did you say
A tier.
A tier?
Ah, yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
I
you
didn't
did.
hear
A
you.
tier.
Yeah, I was saying
Oh,
it's one of
okay.
his best. A tier. I bump it up there. It is. You said it's his
Oh.
best. It is not.
Come on,
Joe.
come on, guys.
His best
Oh, I think it's his
is
best.
pop star.
Come
Never
on, guys.
Stop.
Come on, guys. You're making me
No.
look bad.
Hilarious.
You should have told me before we
because you're a
started
hater.
this.
You're a goddamn hater.
All right,
Later.
all right, cool. Right, so ACAA. Ryan's got an A. I've done a little bit of quick maths. That puts it
It has
out
to be
at a
an A.
6.5, right?
A minus.
Six
B.
is a B. A is a 7, and we always round up on this podcast.
Round up.
I think we
No,
decided
you don't
that
even
day one.
have to do the maths for this one. It's
Yeah.
3 A's to a C. It has to be an A.
6.5, it gets rounded up to a 7, which means it's an A. So we have an A. We have an A. We have another A tier film, which is actually
We
quite
have
nice.
an
'Cause
A
it,
tier film.
oh, actually, it
I
does
did not
mess up.
expect
It messes up the step ladder a bit because look, we had it going cascading down.
Yeah.
Look, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That was never gonna last that.
It was never gonna last. It was never gonna last.
I
All
still
right,
can't believe we
let's.
don't have anything else in the fall. I mean, the
Can
void,
I-
sorry.
Don't
fall.
worry,
Let's
Joe.
watch-
Next week's film, I think you guys.
Can I ask a question? Actually, just a off-topic question.
Yeah, sure.
Why do we round them up? Because technically 6.5 is in the category of B. Then when
Nah,
it reaches 7, it's in the
No,
category A.
look,
For example,
look, to
in
be
that
honest,
situation, it's like
I'm
three
not
of us
like
are A.
disputing
I want
it.
to
I'd
say,
So what's to know with
Power of
people?
movie magic. Boom, A tier. Oh, actually looks. I like the little poster for it as well. It fits quite nicely. It
Yeah,
fits
so
It is
nicely
a
in with
nice
everything.
poster.
I do. I like that. I like
it's
that a lot.
very similar to He's All That, and it's throwing me off.
I like the fact that you look at this tier list and you just see the worst person in the world at S.
Yeah.
Just like, what the fuck that doing there?
It
But it
makes
was a good
me
film.
angry.
Recommend watching
Right. Anyway.
Ah.
Right.
Cameron, Cameron, unironically, had you watched the film, it wouldn't have been an S tier.
That's true.
Yeah.
My vote would have. Right. Anyway. What's to know with Joe? Where we get to know what Joe wants to know. Joe, what would you happen to want to know? And don't make it time loop related because we've had enough of that already. So just
But
do
this
something else.
film was time looped.
Oh, all right.
Cameron,
Well,
it would be Cameron. You say we've had enough of that, all right? It's called a time loop, dude. It
Ah,
That's
I'm
true.
stuck in
So
it.
Joe
This
asked
is
you
my
questions
hell.
earlier, it'd be canonically
It's just quite
correct.
it's quite a simple one this week, really.
Right.
If you found yourself in a time loop of the day that you had today, okay, this specific day, okay,
Oh,
so the situation you're in, the environment you're in, like the people you know right now, so you can't say something outlandish here. If you were stuck in there for a while and you finally, adjusted to it and accepted it, what would be the first thing that you'd do knowing there'd be no consequences?
Well, I didn't
In the
do all that much
situation
today
you're
because
in.
I was just at work. So,
yeah, but you could not maybe not go to work.
yeah, maybe
went
not
for
go to
half
work.
season
Yeah.
I went through half a season of Football Manager.
Yeah, that's a
my
time
life.
loop day you'd need there to get to not do
That's
that.
what he does every day anyway. Decos lives in his own time loop.
No, I totally haven't done almost like 10 seasons in a month.
Oh my god.
Right.
All right. If I was to give an actual answer, I guess I would. What would I do? You know what? I just want to see, just for science purposes, knowing that no matter what, I'd come popping back here, right? I would, because I've always thought about just like drunkenly just sitting on my roof. I'm always worried if I fall off, I'll die. So I'm just gonna fall off the roof and see if I actually die. And if I don't, then no worries.
No, but Cameron, you don't want to end up in the hospital slowly dying.
I'd fall head
True.
first then.
You'd have to then. The pain is real. The pain is real.
I'd fall head first, instant death. It'd be fine.
Yeah, but then you don't know if you'd for sure die. You know, you just know that landing on your head would kill you because that can kill you from like a short distance.
I'd acquire some cyanide, pop some cyanide, then fall
How
off
the
the
fuck
roof.
are you
If I
gonna do this in a
my
day?
if I
God.
don't die from the roof thing, I'll die within like a few seconds from the cyanide anyway, right? It'd be frothing in my system at that point. It's happening. I'd figure a way. I'd find the sign. I'm pretty sure. I feel like Adam's got some in his room that he's going to try and lace in my food at some point to get rid of me. So I'll just use that one.
Okay, moving on.
He's coming for
Ryan,
me.
what would you
I
do?
know it.
Yeah.
Oh my
Ryan.
Well, I woke up feeling very ill this morning.
Oh yeah, you would have a shit day.
Oh yeah, that'd be bad.
So this would be an awful day. I mean, I literally like woke up at 6 because I just
In the
could
evening?
not like sleep
Oh
in the morning.
no, in the morning. Okay.
I went to sleep at like 8 last night, dude.
Right.
So I woke up at like 6, just feeling like death. So I'd probably spend the morning slowly dying.
Later.
That would be it. That would be my day. It was only like at 3ish I actually started to feel better.
You know what'd help get rid of that, Ryan? If you just jumped off the roof and see if it killed you as well.
Yeah.
We should
I
jump
wouldn't
off
be
the
able
roof
to make it
together.
to the roof.
To the roof. Roof gang. Right, Joe. What do you do? And if it's not a roof, it's wrong.
Well, mine is not roof. But today,
Yours is
today as part of my day today, I'm currently car hunting, as
Oh.
a few of you are aware.
Imagine that.
Okay.
Isn't
And
car Albanian slang for something?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
it
car
is.
is also the name of.
Vagina.
Oh right. Okay. Well. Okay. Well, I was looking for a four-wheeled vehicle. Anyway, I was car hunting today. Whatever. Long story short, looked at a few cars. None of them were good. Left it. However, if I was stuck in a loop, you know damn well the first thing I would do is, because for one of the cars, you know, he was a very nice man. He said, "Oh, here's the key. You can test drive it if you'd like. Just park it back here, and then we can have a chat afterwards." If I was stuck in a loop, though, I would like
Take
to.
it.
I would just take the car, and I would just see, you know, how far could I get away until something would start happening? Like, could I just carry on driving this car all day, and as long as I brought it back? You know, he wasn't very clear on his instructions. Okay, could I have? But on the other hand, though, would I be involved in some crazy police chase? We don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd try it though. I'd just steal this car and
What
see,
if
like,
what if Keith was the arresting officer?
oh, then he'd have to race me, wouldn't he?
Oh.
But yeah, that's probably what I would get up to.
Okay. All right. That. Decos. Oh, you already did yours. This was just play Football Manager again, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'd probably just. Well, I have a new car, so I'd probably just drive as fast and far as I can. And see
Oh, that's fair.
what I can
Or
get to.
you could roof.
Yeah, I'm with Cameron here.
Roof. Yeah,
I'd
you
get on
gotta
the roof
find
building
out.
my
You gotta find
car.
out if the drop from your
I'd
house
try-
roof is fatal, just for science purposes. Just so
I'd
you know.
probably just follow my cat around, see what he does for the day.
I'd probably also like just try out all.
Don't
you know,
Shane
like
Dawson the cat though.
you know, like when you're
No,
like
I'm not.
younger
I'm
and
not
your
Cameron.
parents like say all these things to you, like, oh, don't do that, it's dangerous. Like, for example, like they comment like, oh, you should never like stick a fork into a plug socket. But you never actually see any proof, or like, don't lean too far back on your chair because you'll hit your head
What
and
you're saying
die.
is
There is
no.
proof.
Like
There
There
maybe
is
I would
proof,
just
though,
like
but
try out
the
these.
fork in a plug socket is bad for you. Just saying.
Yeah, but maybe I just like try
you're
this. You know,
saying
like when
is
you're in
it'll be-
school, and like the teachers are like, oh, you shouldn't lean back on your chair because you'll hit your head and die. And they always claim they've seen a child do this, and yet I've never witnessed somebody fall off their chair.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, they
Probably
probably
just
not to.
No.
Well, yeah,
You'd
but
go
I'd
to
try it.
you'd walk into a school, go into a classroom, ask the teacher if they've ever seen anyone die, just do it and make them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scar them for
Well,
life.
you're about to.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah, that's
All
what I
right,
wanted to
awesome.
know.
Well, that's the what's to know with Joe.
I
Come back next
would-
week for the next one. Who knows what he'll want to know?
I would fuck Ryan every single time.
All right.
Oh my!
Talking about next week,
I would commit suicide.
here's the movie we're watching next week. The Color of Pomegranates, a
Syndrome.
film by blah blah blah. I can't read
What
that.
the
I don't know.
fucking Christ is this?
I don't know. But
Okay,
there's pomegranates. Ryan,
I'll explain
enlighten
the
us.
film a little bit. Yeah.
Is his name Sergio Pomegranate? What the fuck
No.
is that? It looks like it.
Sake. Look, I'll explain what the film is.
Fortunato.
It's basically a biopic about an 18th century
Pomegranate.
Armenian monk who apparently wrote poetry.
That's got blinded. Adam just came in my room and
basically-
shone a
the
light in my
film-
eyes. Oh.
But the film is basically visual poetry about his poems
Yes.
and religion. So,
Oh, for God's sake.
What religion?
Christianity.
We're
What
going on a
sect
holy
of
crusade,
Christianity?
boys.
Orthodox Christianity. I
We're going on a holy crusade, boys.
will
Fine.
say
If
the
Martin
one thing
Luther
about
did
this
it, we
film
can
that's
do
kind
it.
of interesting is that
We're gonna
it was originally banned in the Soviet Union, and I believe Martin Scorsese was one of the people who worked to restore it.
Wow, well that sounds exciting. I can't wait
I don't know
for
why
that
you
week.
picked this film.
We'll give it our best
I
shot,
don't know
everybody.
why you
I
went.
think it's going to be riveting.
Okay.
I think we're going to have a great time.
Shut up.
I
The
swear to
theme
God.
of the 3 films that I picked were that they are hard to talk about. There was one that was hard to talk about for the wrong reasons.
But why pick for a movie podcast a movie that is hard to talk about?
No, because the other 2, one of them was Gene Dealman, which is considered the greatest film of all time. Okay, so I thought that would be an interesting one to potentially do. And then the other one was Visitor Q, which is completely fucked up and is hard to talk about for the same reason.
Pick a normal movie, right? Pick normal movie.
He who shall not be named, Voldemort. We're in, baby. Join us next week for The Color of Pomegranates, a film by Sergio Prombrangimo. Thanks for listening this week. I've had a great time chatting about this film. I thought it was really fun. I think everyone else has as well. Ryan was a little dead because of his illness, but I think he enjoyed it. Look at him. I bet he's got a big smile on his face right now.
I want to kill you all.
He wants to kill us all, but he's not in a time loop, so he absolutely could and have consequences. But yeah, that's next week.
See you guys 2 hours ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See you guys whenever see you. Follow us on all the socials. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, share this with all your friends. Hit the little bell so there's notifications, and yeah, join us next week.
Bye.
All right. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.